Hey gang, East Coast Lumberjack, coming at you from Keswick Ridge, New Brunswick. And this week, we have a pile of French curves. And I hesitate to show you this, because I know people order them. My buddy, Emmanuel Boulanger from Quebec, he lives out in Levi, Quebec, and he loves these French curves. Now, they are a really sweepy handle, okay? They have a very large, pronounced palm swell, okay? And there's a big crook down here, okay? It's similar to the American felling axe, but then it's got another sweep here. It's actually similar to the American felling axe handle pattern. So, anyways, I've made him 5 of these. It's taken me all day to make them. I don't like making them. There's a lot of curves. There's a lot of stuff that goes sideways. And when I was finishing this one off, look at this. So when I was drawing out my 2 side pieces, I didn't realize I was missing a little bit on that. And of course, that come out. Now, it all depends how big his axe is, because it only comes to here. Okay, so if he has a smaller axe, if you've got 2 inches or less, it'll fit on this. So this will still be a good handle. Now, I'm going to send it to him anyhow. Just to get rid of it. But I will say, now this is the first time I've had this happen. But I've had a couple of orders from guys. One guy down under in Australia. I've messaged him and messaged him and messaged him. He never gets back to me. So, I don't know what happened to him or his order. Obviously, he doesn't want the handles. And then I also made a hickory, a 31-inch French curve here. It's all packaged, ready to go. And the guy who wants that never got back to me. So anyways, I don't even have an address for that one to ship it to. So there's a couple of handles laying around here. If you're watching this and say, hey, I ordered a 31-inch French curve. Well, it's been boxed here now for about 5 months, so I'd love to get off my bench. So the French curve is a lot of sweep, okay? A lot of sweep to it. I'll bring you over here closer, because this is one of the last ones. I'm going to make one to replace that other one, but I'm finishing this one here up right now. And I want to talk about a few other things today, too. So French curves are the order of the day. But I want to show you this. Okay, so this is we're into the new hickory. Okay, the hickory we got in February and March of 2025. I'm into it, and it's not bad. So I'm bringing them down here in batches of, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a dozen. I'm bringing a dozen in at a time in the shop, and the heat's on in here, 20 degrees. It's electric heat, so it's fairly dry. So this guy here, 8% moisture on the end, 8% on the side, 9% on the upright, 11 on the end. So again, we're right where I like to be to work wood. And of course, I was cutting this one out. This is a racing axe handle, and I'm cutting it out. And on one side it does this. On the other side, it does this. Now, these are anomalies, and I run across them, I'll say, relatively common occurrence in my hickory. Now, the thing about this is, that is in the eye, okay? Below it is very strong. I would almost finish this out, except... There was one more thing I noticed, okay, and let's see if we can see it here, right here, okay, you can see that little anomaly there. When I cut that out, I know that's a split, and if you turn it this way, you can see that split comes right up here, okay. So that's not going out as number 1. Now I will probably... I'll see if I can finish it off and use it for something. But the thing is, when you're sliding your hand this way is fine, but if you're coming up, that little splinter there, man, if you caught that in your hand, I'd hear you hollering from New Brunswick. But I wanted to show you that things go sideways. And this piece of wood looked beautiful on the outside, so this is hidden inside. And the interesting thing is, it was my grain's running this way, so something scarred that tree, okay, and then it healed over, and this is where it's healing over, and it's getting, you know, and of course on the outside you couldn't even see it, it was fine. So sometimes you get what I call buried treasure. So that's a buried treasure, okay, and one that I'm not crazy over. So we're going to finish off this French curve. French curve for Emmanuel Blanche. Now I'm having a great time hunting. And I'm still bow hunting. It's getting down below 0 now here in New Brunswick. So it gets a little cool sitting. So I can sit for about 2.5, 3 hours before I almost freeze to death. But most places, if you're interested, deer typically don't start moving till about an hour and a half to an hour before last light. Okay, and in the morning time they don't move first thing. They are feeding at night, just at dawn, and then of course they go and lay down. And then those are up again in about an hour, and then they start moving. And then bucks aren't up till about 2 to 3 hours after sunrise. And then those guys start pounding the pavement pretty hard. So I did a paper on this years ago and presented this in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the QDMA 25th anniversary AGM down in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I knew the actual age of the bucks that were harvested in the province and then what time of day they were shot. So I put that all together. And basically that's what it says. So, had a neat little buck come out the other night. Well, he had the most bizarre rack. He had points on one side and just a spike on the other. So, I didn't shoot him for the rack. But he's a good, big-sized body, okay? And he was, I don't know, I'll look at the jaws, either 2.5 or 3.5. But I'd say by the antlers, he's 2.5. By the body size, he looks 3.5. But I still say 2.5 because he's on good feed around here, as fat as a pig. So he was a hog. Anyhow, it made a scrape, so it's about, it was only about 15 minutes before last light, 20 minutes. Come out, antlers in the treetop, pawn on the ground, piddled in it, started coming over, bothering the does, and he presented as such a beautiful shot. It was quartering away for the bow, and it was a beautiful double lunger, and anyways, everything went perfect. So, more meat for the freezer. Now, we do have to get back in the woods once this hunting season's over and do some chopping. So I've got some projects I want to get at for that. So again, I'm just finishing this off. The French curve has a real pronounced crook down here in the bottom, and I leave a lot of, when I put my bevel on, I put a lot on these ones because it's quite a large palm swell. So if you look here at the bevel, you'll see that, okay, yeah, he's got a pretty pronounced bevel on this thing because it is such a large palm swell. Okay. But the wood's beautiful. The grain is as straight as a die, and of course that's what we want with East Coast lumberjack. So the other thing is, it's a little bit meatier handle. So again, you want to feel it the whole way up with your fingers and make sure you're getting the same size the whole way along. And remember what I told you, where you have those overlapping grains, and there's only a couple. This here has, no, it's got at least 20 grains in it, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 out here, and then just two up top here, and that's the same one. So there was just a little bit of a bow in that wood, and we easily went over top of it, made our handle nice and straight. So we have a couple of grains that are showing. So I have another neat project coming to the East Coast Lumberjack Workshop. I ran into a guy at church on Sunday, Jorian Hateman, and his grandfather was Arnold Dunphy, and Arnold Dunphy was like a father to me. He was working at the shop at the Maritime College of Forest Technology back when I first started going there. Actually, it was called the Maritime Forest Ranger School back then. And I was competing as a student at UNB, and Arnold was the guy I had to see about going to the woodlot and cutting our practice wood. And great man of faith, had a love boxing. We watched that back in the day. We watched Tyson Holyfield. If you ever remember those, man, battle of the century, those two guys, and Holyfield put the beating on him, which was amazing because Iron Mike was pretty tough nut to say the least. So we watched that. I filmed it for him or I recorded it, and we went in and watched it. And so anyways, Jorian has his grandfather's axe. So it's an Arnold Dunphy axe. And Arnold Dunphy back in the day was one of the best competitors in the province. So again, because I knew him so well, he asked me if I was going to put a handle on that. And I said, hey, you want to believe I'll put a handle on that? Love to. So that's coming up. We're going to put a handle, and when we see the axe, I'll show you what it is. I'm wondering if it's a chopping axe or not, but we'll see. And we'll take a look at it, and we'll analyze it, and I'll tell you what we're going to pop in it for a handle. So, and then I'll show you start to finish. So that's coming up. So Saturday is it's the last event for the Maritime Lumberjack Association this year. We're having a competition out here in the yard, in the backyard. So I had to burn when we chop wood in the summertime, we make a big pile of all the row and, end block ends and stuff. So I had to burn that the other night, and of course, with my big deer fence, with the white horse wire around it, I melted it. So I had to replace my fence, or actually just repair it. One little section, but needless to say, she was a big fire. But we're into the fall now, and of course we had a drought this year in New Brunswick. Actually, most places in Canada and in North America had a drought. And everybody kept saying, we need rain. I said, relax, we always get rain in the fall. Lots of it. Well, we got a pile of it today. We got a pile of rain today, so I used that to get back at the house. Maybe I should show you what's going on in the house. Years ago, we get an old house. We could call this segment this old house, but it's an old house. 1870s. Okay, so it's an old house. It's 150 years old, and it was one of the first houses built on the ridge by the same. There's 5 houses here, almost identical on the ridge, and this was one of the original 5, and it was the church manse, and it used to be next door. They moved it here about 30 years ago over here on my property where it's at now. Put a new well, new septic, new foundation underneath it, so it had a lot of good stuff about it, even though it was such an old house. So, ran foundation. So, and it's right on the ledge here in Keswick Ridge. So, unless we get an earthquake, we should be pretty good. But years ago, of course, we raised 4 kids, not a whole lot of spare change. So, the kids are all grown and gone. Katie just moved out this summer, our youngest. She's 23. And so we started renovating the house. We have a little bit of money now to try to finish things up. We never ever had the pesos to do it when the kids were here. We were raising 4 kids, milking a cow and everything else. So we've started. So the kitchen's been done. Oh, it's got to be redone now. Anyways, we won't go there. Kitchen's been done, And I just finished a library out back. Had my buddy Ed Christie come and help me with that. And then I did the den. So now we have a living area, a living room. And then the big room, where they used to do a lot of socializing at the church functions and stuff at the manse. We're going to turn that into a dining room / tea room. So that's the goal for that. And that's the project I'm on now. So I put all new hardwood flooring down, redone all the walls, new kitchen, new pantry, all new molding and new windows and everything in the den. So we've been at her. And this is my 5th year doing this project, okay? So it's taken a lot of time. And of course it takes some money. So you got to be able to make some money to pay for this stuff. So we've been doing that over the last 5 years. Now this is the last room downstairs, and then we go upstairs, tearing up carpet. Anyway, she's got a lot of plans. So I get a full-time job. I'm not retiring anytime soon because I'll be doing all this. But I'll take you inside. Next video, I'll take you inside and show you what we're doing with the living room. So anyways, it's looking pretty good. So I'm getting to the point where now we can start painting, and once we get a couple coats of paint on the room, then we'll go with the hardwood flooring, and then I'll finish up with the molding. So and we got to have that all done because in 2 weeks, my daughter's graduating from being a vet assistant. She took a vet assistant course here in the province, and she's graduating. We're having a party here. So it's got to be done. Nothing like a little bit of pressure to keep you moving. But today it was raining. I did a lot of crack filling in there. So while it was drying, I came out here and tackled my handles. So I got this order, and I'm starting to get caught up on the handle orders, which is nice. So again, I appreciate your patience out there. Daniel, Lange, your order's going to be... These should be ready to go out the door tomorrow. Okay, so there's the end of the 4th. This is the 4th French curve. He loves French curves. It's a nice one. It's straight as a die. So that's number 4. He's ordered 5 of them. Now again, that one that was bad, I got to replace it. But then he also ordered a 32-inch double bitter or cruiser handle. So we're just going to finish that one. And the grain, actually, I want to show you the grain in this. So this is a typical East Coast lumberjack handle. This is the grain. Look at that. Run out does not occur. Okay, that's a beautiful. This side here, there's one little piece right there, and then it runs the entire length of the handle. Okay, that grain. So this grain here, this is what it looks like. There we go, right there. That's the grain this end. That's the grain in this end. So just as straight as can be, runs right down the handle. So it's a beautiful handle, and again, that's what you want. If you're looking for a good handle, you want your grain nice and straight. Okay, nothing better than straight grain and tough as nails. So this is all white ash. This is New Brunswick white ash. And this stuff here actually comes from Keswick Ridge, where I live. So this ash came from a property on the road. Frank Gordon, he had a Guernsey farm here. We always used to work on his farm and milk his cows and help them out down there, do their haying and stuff for them. So this came from Frank's property. He had a couple of big logs. He was doing firewood a few years ago, and I saw a few big logs out there. 2021. So it was during COVID. And I saw the logs laying there. He was going to cut it up for firewood. And I said, hey, I'll trade you. Actually, I was going to trade him some maple for some ash, but I wound up just buying it from him. So it was nice wood, it was big wood, and it was straight wood. So I'm into 2021 ash now, and I've got another 5 or 6 piles here. And remember what I said, the ash that's coming up now in the next few years is second to none. Okay, I've got some really good ash over the years, and that's what. And of course, I'm learning a lot too. I'm learning what to look for in a log and what I want, what I don't want. And as long as I stay fussy, we've got good handle wood. Now I found another source the other day. The guys called me up down in Queenstown, and it's what's his name? Slip. I've got to go see him. We're going to walk this property and flag a few trees, and then I'll go down whenever it works for him. We'll harvest them and get them out. So hopefully that stuff's nice as well. So we're going to be into some really good ash for the next few years, and I'm still sourcing some. So the emerald ash borer, we might as well talk about the emerald ash borer. That's devastating the eastern seaboard here in the United States, and now it's into Canada, causing trouble here for our ash. It's not an epidemic yet here like it is in other places, but it's coming. So a lot of people are trying to cut their ash and get some money for it before, of course, the borer gets it and kills it. So it's a good time to be in the ash business. But the problem is, when it hits, we're going to get out of ash. Like in this part of the world, you're not going to have any ash. It's going to be like gold getting a hold of. So not good for the handle business. But right now, we're making hay while the sun shines. So too bad for the ash. But yeah, we were getting a lot of it in up at Garant's Mill in Woodstock. From down in the USA, because we're infected now in New Brunswick, and it was coming from an infected place. But we're starting to notice that a lot of the logs had the little cavities inside the bark. The bark was sloughing off. So that's dead wood, okay? And you want to get it before it dies, okay? So a lot of these trees were just in the process of dying when they cut them, so they actually still had a little bit of life in them, so they're not bad wood. If that tree stands here for a year or two, and it's a dead tree, it's useless. You lose a lot of strength in that dead wood. So I've just rounded out the sides of this double bitter. Now I'm taking out the spoke shade lines. And I just keep working my way up the axe handle. One side, I roll it over into the middle. I like the middle of my double bitters flat, okay? It makes a, because you want to be able to tell where the blade is pointing. So if you have two flat sides, you can actually feel where the blade is pointing, okay? Helps you a lot when you're running it. The only thing about a round handle, if you make your handles round, not oval or oblong, you can't feel where that point is, where the sharp edge is, especially on a double bitter. But almost any handle for that matter. So that's why we like the teardrop shape or the oval shape in our handles. So again, let your fingers feel what's going on. This side's almost done. Now, next week we're going to talk about pruning trees. Okay, we're going to talk about defects and how a tree grows and how you can get around these defects and get yourself some really nice wood. And I'll show you some live examples here at my place of trees that I've actually pruned that are starting to grow nice wood now. And all you need is 10 years of good growth on the outside of that, 10 years of good growth, and you've got enough for a handle. So if you've got some nice trees, whether they're hickory or ash, we're going to talk about pruning them, how to do it, why to do it, where to do it, and what it produces. I've got some really good examples of that. So Manuel, we're almost done this order. That's this side done, one more side, and then we're gonna jump into that last handle that I need to replace now. one more inch curve. Again, we're just taking the corners off. So if you're new to the channel, that's a Lee Valley spoke shave, okay? It's a Veritas. Veritas, and it's flat. It's not concave or convex. It's a flat spoke shave. Really great tool. I own several. Doesn't have to be, but I'm just saying, if you want to buy something that's nice and works well, that's my go-to right now is Lee Valley for these. And of course, one of them should do your lifetime if you look after it. So, Stanley Sureform. Now, I'll tell you something about this Stanley Sureform. I seldom replace the blades in these. Seldom. But this Stanley Sureform broke on me just 2 days ago. So I needed to replace it. Now, again, back during COVID, I bought a pile of these. And what is wrong with this one now? This one will not fit in this. I don't know what the story is, but I tried to put it on the other day. This end piece is off a little bit. If you look here, it's small, short here, and it's a lot like it's wider here than it is over here. So this one isn't in the middle, and this one isn't in the middle. And when I try to put it on, it won't grab. Oh, that's what it is. It's twisted. You can see it this way. So if I hold it this way, you can see that it's twisted this way. Just like the wood that I don't like, spiral bark. This same thing. This is a spiral blade, and it will not go in my tool. So it's brand new, and I can't use it. I tried to get it in the other day for quite a while. I could not get it in. But since I've been doing that, well, we've been doing YouTube for 3 years now. I've replaced 2 of these in 3 years. So they last a long time. I use them on every handle I make. So they're a good tool. Lots of longevity. And I like to use them for long swells. And for my signature bevel, I'm putting it on right now. Check the bottom to make sure it's a nice oval. Sometimes if you're in a hurry or you're not watching it, you'll get a funky shape down there. You want to make sure it's nice and uniform. But someone's going to look at it sometime. There. We'll round this out. So this is the last stage of this handle. This week's video, headed to Levi, Quebec. The other thing we're going to do, and I'll take you for the ride when we do that, I've got a parcel inside that I'm going to mail to the United States. And I told you a few weeks ago that the USA is now checking. Now, whoever's... Okay, rant time. Some people are saying these Trump tariffs are stupid, they're no good, they don't work. Well, I want to tell you something. Yes, they do work. And I'm going to tell you how they work. Because there's a 35% tariff on stuff going into the United States right now. So when I go to sell an axe handle to you guys in the States, now rather than being $60 for a hickory handle or $40 for an ash handle, now there's 35% on top of that. So your $60 handle is now an $80 handle. Now my $60 top quality handles, and again, I have good quality handles. There's a lot of good handles out there in the USA, but mine are really, because I do it all by hand. And I'm not saying the other guys aren't good. There's some nice handles out there, okay? Mine are, and people like them because they're very good quality. But they now cost as much or more than stuff you can buy right there in the United States. So all of a sudden now, when I'm talking to my customers and telling them, hey, listen, heads up, it's going to cost you 35% more if I ship this over to you. So what are they doing? I'm telling them about Jason Lentz, who makes handles down in West Virginia. I'm telling them about Whiskey River, who now makes a Racing Axe handle at their shop. So there's other people that are in the business, and people are going there. Now, thankfully, there's a college out in Montana. They said, hey, we know your handles. We like your handles. Send us down an order. So this is the guinea pig order. So now I'm going to drive across the border with my handle package, and find out from the customs what they need there, and then I'm going to go mail it in the United States. Now, I know mail fees in the United States are cheaper than they are here in Canada, but of course, American dollar is worth more than it is in Canada as well. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to mail this package and see how much it costs me to mail it. Okay? So, and then I'll be able to tell people exactly, because what I can do maybe is put 2 or 3 American orders together, drive across. So it's about an hour and a half away for me. But again, it's, that's doable. So I can drive over, mail my parcels, and if it's cheaper to drive, of course, again, I got some gas there, but if it's cheaper to drive, I used to have to pay $10 at the border for a commercial license to just go into the States to do business, and then just pay the shipping over that was back when the Canada Post was on strike here a while ago. So anyways, I'll probably bring you along for that. That'll be a road trip, okay? And we'll take the parcel over, see what it costs us to get it done, and hopefully it's workable for you guys in the U.S., but time will tell. So anyways, I'm just finishing off this handle here, so Manuel, it's all coming to you, buddy. And join us next week. Lots of good stuff still to come.